Hi guys! Welcome back to the Friday review class, the Friday quiz class. Hi guys, come on in. Let's give everyone some time to come in and then we'll start. Oh, hi Robin. Robin's gonna be our moderator in today's class. Okay, so I can see that everyone's coming in. Okay, let's give a few more seconds and then we'll really start. Oh, I see everyone saying hi. Hi, everyone. Miss Vicky, is it okay if I take the quiz later? Yes, you can take the quiz later. So, today's class will be based on the 3 quizzes that I posted on my website. You can find the link in the description box if you haven't checked them yet. And it's best to finish the quiz yourself and then join. But if you didn't finish, you don't have to worry. We can still do it together here. But what you can also do is to come back to the saved video later after you're finished with the quiz. So it's up to you guys. It's up to you. So I can see that pretty much everyone has come in. So I think it's safe to start the class now. So let's first look at the quiz for our September 5th lesson, the 주다 verb combination. Okay, so let me close this window. Okay, so today we're gonna start with this quiz, 주다 verb combination. So can I ask how many of you guys actually finish the quiz? This one, not everything, but for the first quiz, how many of you guys finished it? Can you guys let me know through the live chat? Oh, by the way, there is like a 10 seconds gap, 10 seconds delay between me as a streamer and you guys. So so that's why I'm getting the chat kind of late, 10 minutes late. But I can see that some of you guys finished it. Okay, that's wonderful. Some of you guys finished it. Some of you guys cannot download it. Okay, so thank you for finishing the quiz. And now let's get started with our first sentence. So I want to give you a hug. I want to give you a hug. Can you guys guess which verb to use? So here we can use the verb 안다, which means to hug, and combine it with 주다, because like we learned, when we say we give someone a hug, it's doing them a favor of doing that action, right? So 안다 usually goes with the combination of 주다. So it's used as 안아 주다, right? And so, how do you say I want to give you a hug? 난 널 안아주고 싶어. 안아주고 싶어. Yes, you guys are right. You guys got it correct. So, 안아주, take out the stem, and we learn how to say I want to verb, right? You put 고 싶어 or 싶어요 for 존댓말. 안아주고 싶어요. You. Let's say you is a middle-aged woman. So let's say 아주머니를. So we learned that depending on who the other person is, the word for you changes, right? So let's imagine that the other person is 아주머니, and in that case you can say 아주머니를 안아주고 싶어요. So that was not that difficult, right? The first one wasn't that difficult. And second one, we should tell Jeff. We should tell Jeff. So to tell someone, oh, actually, there was one thing that I wanted to mention here, guys. So this might be a little bit confusing. It's related to a particle. But when we use the verb 주다 only, 주다 means to give, right? And when you say give someone something, usually in Korean, for the word someone, the particle 에게 is used. So let's say I give dad a present. You should say 아빠에게, which corresponds to two in English, right? 아빠에게 선물을, gift, and this is the object in a sentence. So this is where you put object marking particle, not after a person, not the person whom you're giving it to. So 아빠에게 선물을 줘요, right? But if you are combining 주다 after a verb and use it there, normally 에게 isn't used, but you make the person noun into an object because you are hugging that object, right? Or you're helping that person, and that person acts as an object in that sentence, right? So that's why the object marking particle is used after a person, unlike 주다 verb. So that's something that might confuse some of the learners, so I wanted to mention it. And the next one is we should tell Jeff. We should tell Jeff. So to tell, to talk, to say, we all know that the verb that corresponds to that is 말하다 in Korean, right? 말하다. But when you are telling something to someone, you usually tell the person in favor of that person, right? You're kind of doing them a favor because you want to let them know a very helpful information, or you think that that person has to know about that. So you can use 주다 verb together and say 말해주다, 말해주다, 말해주다. Or you can also go with the verb 알리다 combined with 주다. Oh, thank you so much again, Alida. Thank you. Thank you for the generous gift every time. 알리다, we learn, means to let someone know, right? Let someone know. And by combining it with 주다, it becomes 알려주다. So it becomes a meaning of to do a favor of letting that person know. So let's use both verbs. Actually, here. Oh, so this is the part where it gets confusing. So here, guys, I'm sorry. It's confusing, I know. Here, the right particle is 에게. The right particle is 에게 here. 에게. And I'm going to get back on it soon. 제프에게. So let's try making should tell first. So 말해주다 and 알려주다. Do you guys remember how to say should? Should. So should. You first conjugate a verb in present form. So to say should, you first have to conjugate a verb in present form and add it with 야해요, 야해요, or 야돼요. Present form 야해요 or 야돼요. So 우리 제프에게 알려줘야 돼. Yes, that is correct. So let's go with 야해요. 제프에게 말해주다's present form is 말해줘, right? 제프에게 말해줘. 야해요, 말해줘야 해요. Or 제프에게 말해줘야 돼요, 돼요. So 돼 with E vowel here, O-E vowel here, turns to O-E vowel if it's conjugated in present form. So it should be 제프에게 알려줘야 돼요. So I kind of wasn't correct when I explained to you guys that you always have to use 을을, the object marking particle, after a person noun when you're using to the verb, because obviously here that doesn't apply. So I'm sorry guys about that, but let me correct it. So it all depends on verbs. It depends on verbs, so there's not like a fixed rule on which particle you have to go with. So when you're saying something, you're telling something, in Korean, we say we tell it to someone. We don't say we tell someone, we say tell it to someone. So it's not 제프를 말해줘야 해, it's 제프에게 말해줘야 해. So this is one of the things that can be very confusing about Korean particles because it's very different from English particles, right? So we are going to practice more in our particle lessons in the future. But for now, let's move on to the next sentence. So, in order not to be late tomorrow, oh, Timothy, thank you so much. Thank you for the gift. In order not to be late tomorrow, you should go to sleep early. Do you guys remember how to say in order not to, as in your intention and plan, when it's followed by a sentence that's in imperative mood or that suggests you, that encouraged you to do something like should. Do you guys remember which conjunction to go with in this kind of sentences? For in order not to be, it has to be 그러려면. We learned it in our third conjunction lesson. 그러려면, in order not to. So, 내일 늦지 않으려면 일찍 자야 해요. Yes, 일찍 자야 돼요. That is a perfect sentence. And white and sorry, I cannot read your nickname. Oh, white and blacks said 위해서, but 위해서 it doesn't suit here. 일어나기 않기 위해서. Actually, 위해서 is fine too. Okay, that's fine too. But we are going to use 려면 here because we're going to do based on what we have learned. So let's go with 려면 this time. So 내일, tomorrow. To be late is 늦다, right? 늦다. And when you say not be late, you can say, so you take out the stem, right? To be late, 늦다, and put 지 않다. Stem is 늦지 않, right? This is the negation verb, 늦지 않. And then you combine it with 려면 conjunction. And to combine 려면 conjunction, you first have to look at the stem, how the stem looks like. If the stem ends in 받침, you have to put extra 으, and then 려면. So you should say 내일 늦지 않으려면, you should go to sleep early. Oh, sorry, this was a typo, guys. Go to sleep early. No, go to sleep early. So let's first write the adverb first. Early, 일찍. You should go to sleep. How do you say you should go to sleep? Using 야 해요 or 야 돼요 expression, which corresponds to should in Korean. So let's go with 야 돼요 this time. 야 돼요. So you first conjugate a verb in present form. So to sleep is 자다, and 자다's present stem is 자, right? Just 자, and then you put 자야 돼요, 자야 돼요. And like I told you guys, 되다, 되다 should be in base verb, right? 되다's present form is 돼요, with this vowel. So E vowel and 에 vowel here. So make sure not to be confused about that. 일찍 자야 돼요. 내일 늦지 않으려면 일찍 자야 돼요. Or you can also say 내일 수업에 늦지 않으려면 in order not to be late to class, 수업에 늦지 않으려면 일찍 자야 돼요. And the next one, I don't want to show you my picture. I don't want to. So, for I don't want to, you can negate want to, right? So to want to is verb, present verb, not present verb, sorry, base stem, right? Base stem. 고 싶다. This is an expression for I want to verb, but if you want to negate it, you can say 싶. You take out the stem and then replace it with 않다, 지 않다. Verb 고 싶지 않다. So you can put exactly this pattern. So I don't want to show you my picture. To show is, do you guys remember? 보이다 combined with 주다, and it becomes 보여주다. So you take out the stem from 보여주 and write 보여주고 싶지 않다. 보여주고 싶지 않다. But we have to first write the object and to whom you are showing it to, right? So first, let's write to whom. 너에게. Here it goes with 에게 particle because for the verb show, you're showing it to someone, right? So I think you can tell when to use 에게 and when to use the object marking particle by imagining whether you're doing it to someone or whether you are letting that verb be done to others. So when you say 너를 보여주다, it means to show you to other people, show you to other people. But when you say 너에게 보여주다, it means to show to you something. So that's how you can tell when to use 에게 and 를. So here you're showing to you my picture, right? 너에게 my picture, you can use 사진. 사진 means photo or picture. 너에게 내 사진을, and 사진 is an object here, so you go with the object marking particle. 너에게 내 사진을 don't want to show. 보여주고 싶지 않다. Oh, sorry. This screen is too big. Let me zoom it out a bit. So 너에게 내 사진을 보여주, take out the stem, and then 고 싶지 않아, conjugate it in present form, 않다, 않아. 내 사진을 보여주고 싶지 않아. I don't want to show you my picture. And there is another expression that you can use to mean I don't want to do a verb. And that is verb 기 싫다. Verb 기 싫다. So you shouldn't confuse it. So you shouldn't replace 싫다 with 싫어하다. If you want to say, I don't want to do it now. So this is a fixed expression that means I don't want to do it, usually now. So you have to go with this expression. So you can say, 너에게 내 사진을 보여주기. There's not enough space here, so let me move a little bit down. 보여주기 싫어. 보여주기 싫어. I don't want to show you. 보여주기 싫어. If you want to say, I don't want to study, you can say, 공부하기 싫어. 공부하기 싫어. 너무 어려워. It's too difficult. 공부하기 싫어. Or if you want to say, I don't want to work, you can say, 일하기 싫어. I don't want to work. So, 기 싫다 is a more casual expression to say you don't want to do something than 쉽지 않다, because this kind of sounds more serious and this sounds more casual. verb 기 싫다. And the next one. Can you take a picture for us? Can you take a picture for us? So to translate this, we have to look at the verb. It's to take. And to take a picture is 찍다. 찍다. 사진을 찍다. It goes with the verb 찍다. 찍다. But if you look at the last part, it says, can you take a picture for us? So it's asking a favor, right? So you can put 주다 verb. You can combine 주다 verb with 찍다 verb and make it 찍어주다. 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 So you don't have to translate for us like 우리에게. It is implied by saying 찍어주다. So how do you ask? Can you take a picture? So yes, you guys are getting it right. 사진을 찍어주시겠어요? 사진을 찍어주시겠어요? 사진을 use 주시겠어요 expression. 사진을 찍어주시겠어요? Do you mind taking pictures for us? So that's how you can say it when you are traveling and you want other strangers to take a picture of you or your group. And next one could be kind of tricky, but if you remember how to say borrow and lend, then it wouldn't be that difficult. So do you guys remember what borrow was in Korean? Borrow is, so there's really not enough space. I should have spaced more to make more space, but it's okay. 빌리다, 빌리다, right? 빌리다. And to lend, if you want to say to lend, you can combine 빌리다 with 주다, right? So this was one of the verbs where by putting 주다, it becomes an opposite meaning, right? 빌려주다. So let's translate the first one. I borrowed a pen from Jeff. From Jeff. So for from, you can say 한테 or 에게, right? 제프한테, 제프한테, 제프한테. From Jeff, 펜을 빌리다's present form is 빌렸어요. 제프한테 펜을 빌렸어요. I borrowed a pen from Jeff. And this is the sentence that has the same meaning, but it's different, right? It's used in different form. So 제프 now becomes a subject. So 제프가 저한테 here 한테 means to, right? So we learned that 한테 means both to and from, depending on the context, right? Depending on the verb that's used, you can know the meaning of 한테, which meaning it is used. So 저한테 줬어요. Oh, we forgot to write the object. 펜을 빌려줬어요. 제프가 저한테 펜을 빌려줬어요. Jeff lent me his pen. 제프 씨한테. Yeah, you can say 제프 씨한테 here. 제프 씨한테 or 제프 씨가. If you want to say Mr. Jeff and you're not that close with Jeff, you can say that. But if you're close with Jeff, you can always call him by a simple first name. And next one, my mom made it for me. Next and last one in this quiz. My mom made it for me. So here as well, made for me. So you can combine 만들다, which means to make, with 주다, and use 만들어주다. Okay, so there's not enough space. Let's use this part of the paper. 만들어주다. 엄마가 subject. 엄마가 저에게 or 저한테. We learned that 에게 means 한테. It means the same thing. to or from, but here it means to. 엄마가 저에게 만들어 줬어요. 만들어 줬어요. Or you can also remove 저에게 because because it's obvious that she made it to me when it's me who's speaking this, right? 엄마가 만들어줬어요. 이거 엄마가 만들어줬어요. My mom made it for me. Okay, so that's the end of the first quiz, September 5th lesson quiz. And now we're moving on to our second quiz file from our September 8th lesson. And we learn how to combine 보다 and 보이다 verb with another verb. And here, more correct one is present verb combined with 보다 and 보이다. You first have to conjugate a verb in present form, right? Just like 주다 verb combination. So yes, we are going to start with the first one, the first quiz of the second file. So have you tried Korean food? Have you tried Korean food? Korean food, you can just say the name of the country and put 음식. 한국 음식, 한국 음식. So if you want to say Vietnamese food, you can just say 베트남 음식. Vietnam is a word for Vietnam in Korea. And if you want to say Italian food, you can say 이태리 음식, 이태리 음식, or 이탈리아 음식 to mean Italian food. So have you tried Korean food? Yes, you guys are getting it right. 한국 음식을 먹어봤어요? 한국 음식을 먹어봤어요? Have you tried Korean food? 먹어봤어요? So you conjugate 보다 in present form. Past form. Because it's asking about your past experience. 한국 음식을 먹어봤어요? So this one wasn't that difficult. And next one. So the reason why you have to indicate which specific verb it is for try, it's because in Korean, we don't say just try. We say try eating or try wearing, try drinking, right? We have to be specific in what verb we're trying, right? So here, food is something that you eat. You try eating, right? So you have to specify a verb. And then, next one, I want to try this dress on. Try this dress on. So in English, it's very convenient because you can use this verb try in many situations that corresponds to many action. But in Korean, you have to specify a verb. And here, 입다 means to put on clothes. Put on clothes. Put on clothes. And do you guys remember how to say take off clothes? Take off clothes or take off shoes, take off anything that's on your body. 벗다. It could be necklaces as well or anything. So 벗다 means to take off. However, one difference is that for 입다, it's not used when you're taking off your shoes. When you're putting on your shoes or when you're putting on your necklaces, jewelries, a different verb is used for that. But this verb is used only for clothes, when you're putting on clothes. So I want to try this dress on. To say this, you can say, so put the object first, 드레스를, or 이 드레스를, for this dress, 이 드레스를 입어보고 싶어요. Yes, many of you are getting it right. 입어보고 싶어요. 입어보고 싶어요. I want to try this dress on. 입어보고 싶어요. How about the next one? How many times have you been to Seoul? How many times have you been to Seoul? So let's write to Seoul first. 서울에. How many times? How many times? How do you say how many times? So for a counter word that corresponds to time in Korean is 번. And how many times or how many of something, you can use 몇 question word. So 몇 번. Yes, 민주. 서울에 몇 번 가봤어요. And also, oh, okay. So 서울에 몇 번, and then have you been to? 가봤어요, right? 가봤어요. To have the experience of going, so it means to have been. But 몇 번 서울에 가봤어요. 몇 번 서울에 가봤어요. So 몇 번 can be placed at the very front as well. But for some reason, it sounds more natural to put it in between. So 서울에 몇 번 가봤어요 sounds more natural than 몇 번 서울에 가봤어요. I'm not sure of the exact reason why, but I guess it doesn't matter as much because it makes sense. Whether you put it at the front or here, it makes sense. So as long as it comes after, before a verb, anywhere before a verb, it's fine. 서울에 몇 번 가봤어요? 서울에 몇 번 가봤어요? And I can see that some of you are using 저기 있어요 expression, 저기 있어요 expression, but we're going to practice with 저기 있다 expression on our third quiz. But currently at this quiz, we're focusing on 보다 expression, so make sure you use 보다 expression, not 저기 expression here. And let's move on to try these shoes on. So I told you guys that when we say put on clothes, you can use 입다 verb, right? But when we say put on shoes, you can say 신다, 신다. 이 신발을 yes, 이 신발을 신어봐요 as well. 신어봐요. In a less politer form, right? 신발을 신어봐요. 신어봐요. Or you can also combine it with 세유 ending and say 신어보세요. 이 신발을 신어봐요 or 이 신발을 신어보세요. Both are verb combined with 보다 verb, and this one is a plain 존댓말, whereas this one is a politer 존댓말, 세유 ending, right? 이 신발을 신어봐요. 이 신발을 신어보세요. Okay. 구두. Oh, 구두 is also one type of shoes. So 구두 means dress shoes. So 구두 is something that you wear when you're all dressed up in suit or in very good dress when you're going to somewhere formal or somewhere important, like an important event, a big event. So 구두 is that kind of shoes. But for just for shoes, like normal shoes, you can just go with 신발. 신발 means a pair of shoes. 신발. And next one, I have tried 막걸리. How many of you guys have actually tried 막걸리? Or how many of you guys have actually heard of 막걸리? 막걸리 들어봤어요? 여러분 막걸리 들어봤어요 혹시? 막걸리 들어봤어요? 막걸리 is a Korean rice wine, and I wish I could show you guys the picture how it looks like. It's wine and it's sweet, and it's personally I feel like this is the most delicious alcohol beverage in the world. Or I haven't tried all the alcoholic beverages in the world, so this is just my opinion, but 막걸리 is very, very delicious, and I can see that some of you have heard of it. Yes, you guys are answering 네. Rice wine. So it's a wine made with rice. It's fermented rice, maybe. I'm not really sure of the science behind how they make it, but it's a good wine. So if you ever come to Korea, you can try 막걸리. So I have tried 막걸리. 들어봤는데 먹어본 적이 없어요. Wow, that's a good sentence. 들어봤는데 먹어본 적이 없어요. Nice job, Small. You have heard about it, but you have never tried it. So that's a perfect way to review what we learned recently, right, in the 3 recent lessons. But anyways, let's translate. I have tried 막걸리. So first, right, 막걸리를 you have to specify a verb on what exactly it is that you tried. You tried drinking it. 마시다, right? 마시다. 막걸리를 마셔 combined with 보다, but conjugated in present form. I mean past form because it's talking about your past experience. So you can say 막걸리를 마셔봤어요. 막걸리를 마셔봤어요. And moving on to the second group of quiz, translate the sentences below in English. So they are all in Korean. So now let's figure out the meaning of these sentences. 제프 씨의 Mr. Jeff's and 의 is a possession particle. So it means Jeff's. So it can also be translated as a sister of Jeff. So Jeff's sister. Sister of Jeff, Jeff's sister. And we learned, do you guys remember 여동생? So when 여 is put before a person noun, it means female. So female, girl, woman, female 동생. 동생 means younger sister or brother. So people who are younger than you are called 동생. So 여동생 means your sister, younger sister. 제프 씨의 여동생을, this is an object, right? sister를 만나보고 싶어요. This is combined. This is a combination of 만나다, to meet, and 보다, and 고 싶어요, want to. So we learned that when 만나 보다 or 보다 verb combination is mixed with 고 싶어요, it means I would like to try meeting Jeff's sister. So it can also mean I would like to get a chance to meet Jeff's sister, right? Jeff's sister. I would like to get a chance to meet Jeff's sister. And there is actually one adverb that you can add to this sentence. Do you guys remember what that is? Do you guys remember what that adverb is? For 보다 verb, you can add 한 번. 제프 씨의 여동생을 한 번 만나보고 싶어요. And we learned that 한 번's literal meaning is one time. So it means once. But here in this sentence, it doesn't mean literally once. It doesn't mean he would like to meet her sister just once, right? It just emphasizes her wanting to meet her sister one time. So you can also put 한 번 adverb here. And next one. 한국에서 일해봤어요. So this one's not that difficult to figure out. 한국에서, in Korea, right? In Korea, 일해봤어요. 일하다 combined with 봤어요, which means I have worked in South Korea. Yes, Andres. I've worked in Korea before. Oh yes, Nicole, you're correct too. So it can have two meanings, but it normally means I have the past experience of working in South Korea. 한국에서 일해봤어요. I have worked there before. And next one. 엄마랑 얘기해보고 결정할게요. 엄마랑 얘기해보고. So this is a combination of 얘기하다 and 보다 verb with 고 conjunction and 결정하다 with the future decision form. So 결정하다 means to decide, and by putting 리을 받침개요, it means will decide. I will decide. I will try talking with mom and decide. Yes, that is the correct translation. So 얘기하다 means to talk, right? To talk. Kind of similar with 말하다. So you can also say 말해보고. So with mom, 엄마랑 or 엄마와 is also possible too, right? 엄마와 or 엄마랑 얘기해보고. After talking with my mom, after trying talking with my mom, then I will decide. Then I will decide. So we learned that 고 conjunction has a meaning of and, but it also has a meaning of then. So do this verb, then do the next verb. So 엄마랑 얘기해보고 I will talk about it with my mom and then decide. 엄마랑 얘기해보고 결정할게요. So you can say it like this. And the next sentence. 그 노래를 한번 들어보세요. 그 노래를 한번 들어보세요. 기분이 좋아질 거예요. So here as well, 한번 is used with 보다 verb. It's just for, it doesn't have a special meaning, right? It's just used to emphasize, try listening, to try something. So 그 노래를 한번 들어보세요. 그 노래를, that 노래, that song, object marking particle, 그 노래를 한번 들어 is a present form of 듣다, which means to listen. So 한번 들어보세요, 그 노래를. Oh, try listening to that song, you know, take a listen to that song. 그 노래 한번 들어보세요. 기분이 좋아질 거예요. So here we learn about the new expression. So 기분 we learned means mood. So your mood, 기분이 좋아지, and then the present tense will, right? 질 거예요. Will be 좋아지다. Your mood will be 좋아지다. Can you guess what 좋아지다 mean? 좋아지다. 좋아지다. So 좋아지다. There are many verb combinations in Korean other than 보다, 주다, 보이다 combination that we learned. There are so many. So this is a combination of the verb 좋다 and 지다. 좋다 and 지다. And how you can combine them together is the same. You conjugate the first verb in present tense and combine it with 지다. And it means to turn verb or adjective, to turn verb or adjective, to change to verb. So it wasn't like that, but it became like that, so to become verb. So it means, so 좋아지다 means to become, to turn good, to turn good. So yes, get better is the perfect translation. Yes, your mood will get better. It will change to a better state. It will become good. So it means to get better. 좋아질 거예요. 좋아질 거예요. And remember this expression because we're going to use it once again in this sentence, in the second sentence of the third group. So moving on to the third group, using 보이다, translate the sentences below in Korean. So this time we're using 보이다. We learned that 보이다 is a verb. It's a passive verb that means to be seen or visible, right? Something or someone is visible. Something is seen, someone is seen. And if you combine 보이다 with an adjective, we learned that it means to look adjective. To look adjective. An adjective has to be conjugated in present form, right? So, I'm happy because my grandmother looks happy. 우리 할머니가 건강해 보이셔서 행복해요. Oh, yes, that is, wow, you did a very good job. So, in Korean, you first write the reason, right? First write the reason, and then you express your emotion, the reason for your emotion, right? So let's use 서 conjunction for because. So this happened, so I'm happy, right? The literal translation is this. So to translate my grandmother looks healthy, you can say 저희 or 우리, my 할머니가, 저희 할머니가. So 우리 is a friendly way to say my, and 저희 is an honorific form of 우리. So both can be used for my grandmother. 저희 할머니가, or you can replace 가 with 깨서. Do you guys remember? 깨서 is an honorific particle of 가. So 할머니, grandmother is someone that you want to show respect to. So here you can replace 가 with 가 with 깨서 too, right? But 할머니 가 is fine as well. But to be, I guess, more respectful, you can say 할머니께서. 할머니께서 looks healthy. So you have to combine healthy, which is 건강하다, with 보이다 to mean someone looks healthy. So 건강하다's present form, 건강해 보여서, 건강해 보여서. 저희 할머니께서 건강해 보여서 or 보이셔서. So here is, if you want to make it into a perfect honorific sentence, you can go with 보이셔서. So 보여서 is fine. It's conjugated form of 보이다, right? But 보이셔서 is the conjugated form of 보이시다, the honorific verb of 보이다. So you don't have to get all the honorific forms correctly. It doesn't matter. Like not even native Korean speakers stick to all the rules. So it doesn't matter. But just for practice, I want to let you guys as many things as possible. Let you guys know, teach you guys as many things as possible. So we're looking at many options here. So 보여서 or 보이셔서. I'm happy. Oh, so 서 here is a conjunction, right? 서. So 보이다 combined with 서. 보여서. I hope you're getting it. Are you guys getting it? So this is kind of a difficult part because it's an honorific form. So I'll go slowly from here. But here the difficult part has ended. So you can just write, I'm happy. You can say, 기뻐요. So I can see that a lot of you guys wrote 행복해요, right? So 행복해요 also means happy. So you can go with this too. But here, 기뻐요 sounds more natural. So both 기뻐요 and 행복해요 mean I'm happy. But 행복해요 sounds more deep. Like happy as in a very deep way. Whereas 기뻐요 is normally used when you're stating a reason for you being happy. So this more corresponds to the meaning of I'm glad. And also I'm happy in a light way, not in happy in a general way. Like I'm a happy person. If you want to say I'm a happy person, like in general, you can say 저는 행복한 사람이에요. But if you want to say you feel happy now because of certain reasons, you can say 저는 기뻐요. 여러분이 제 수업에 와주셔서 기뻐요. 여러분이 제 수업에 와주셔서 기뻐요. So you can use it like that. That's the difference between 기뻐요 and 행복해요. And the next one, so it got messier because of what I wrote, but I think you can see. Korean seemed easy at first, but now it's getting more difficult. Korean seemed easy at first, but now it's getting more difficult. So let's first write Korean seemed easy at first. So, at first, so there are many ways first, the English word first can be translated in Korean. But for now, if you want to translate at first, you can write 처음에. And 한국어는 처음에는 쉬워 보였지만 지금은 어려워요. Okay. Okay, I'm getting a lot of answers from you guys. Okay, so let's do it together. 처음에. Or you can also write 처음에는. This sounds more natural. So this is also something that has to be dealt with in particle lesson. But when you put 는 after a particle, when you put 는 particle after a particle, it means, so it shows contrast. 는 can also be used when you're contrasting. So at first, Korean seemed easy, but now it's not. So you're comparing at first and now, and it's different, right? So in that case, you can go with the particle 는. So 처음에 is fine too, but 처음에는 sounds more natural in this sentence. So 처음에는 한국어가 Korean 쉽다 combined with 보이다. 쉬워 보이다, right? You have to conjugate 보이다 in present form because it seemed that way in the past, right? 처음에는 한국어가 쉬워 보였는데 and combine it with but. 는데 conjunction. So it's getting more complex. We're practicing with more complex as we move up, right? So I hope you are following me. 처음에는 한국어가 쉬워 보였 combined with 그런데 conjunction and put 는데. 보였는데 지금은 so 지금 is a noun that means now, and you can also write the particle 은 here, 은는, because you're comparing 처음에 and 지금, and they're different. So 처음에는 like this, but now 지금은 get difficult. Do you guys remember how to say get difficult? Get difficult. 어려. So I hope you remember this expression. So first, conjugate 어렵다 in present form and make it and combine it with 치다. That way, it has a meaning of to become that adjective or to turn into that adjective, right? So when you want to say it gets difficult, you can say 어려워지다 and combine and conjugate it in present form. 어려워져요. Yes. Okay, so I think I brought a little bit too complex sentence. So it's actually, so let me first write it and let's see if it makes sense to you guys. So it's getting more difficult. So I'm translating, it's getting more difficult, and I'm using a separate piece of paper because there isn't much space. It's getting more difficult. To translate this, you can say 어려워지고 있어요. Or to be more correct, you can add 더 어려워지고 있어요. So let me break this sentence down for you. 어려워 combined with 지다 verb. So get difficult, right? Get difficult, change to difficult state, right? Get difficult. 고 있어요. Do you guys remember 고 있다 form? It's present progressive, right? Present progressive. So it is a perfect translation for getting more difficult. Is getting more difficult. And I wrote separate 더, and 더 corresponds to more. So 더 어려워지고 있어요. So this is kind of a complex sentence that I brought, but challenge is always fun, right? So I hope you guys don't mind. So I'm now covering the answer written here. So let's do it yourself now. Let's see if you remember. 지금은 더 어려워지고 있어요. 지금은 더 어려워지고 있어요. And let me teach you guys one more adverb, which is 점점. So 점점 is often used with 점점 더. So we learned that 더 means more, and 점점 더 means gradually more. It's gradually getting more difficult. So 점점 is an adverb that is used to emphasize that something is happening step by step. Something is happening as time goes by. 점점 더, gradually. And our last sentence, it looks delicious, but I haven't tried it yet. It looks delicious, but I haven't tried it yet. So you can remove the subject and just write looks delicious. 맛있다 combined with 보이다. So 맛있어 보이다, right? 맛있어 보이다. And let's so we practiced with 는데 in previous sentences. So let's try with 지만, 하지만, 지만 from 하지만. Both mean but, right? 맛있어 보이, stem verb, and then 지만, 맛있어 보이지만, it looks delicious, but, and 맛있게 보이는데, oh, small. 맛있게 보이는데 is also correct, but we're gonna learn about that expression another time. But 맛있게 보이는데 is also correct too. 맛있어 보이지만, 맛있어 보이는데, 아직, we learned that to say yet. You can say 아직, haven't tried it yet, haven't eaten it yet, right? 안 먹어봤어요. 안 먹어봤어요. 아직 안 먹어봤어요. 안 먹어봤어요. I haven't tried it yet. 맛있어 보이지만 I haven't tried eating it, not, right? So I have not tried it yet. 맛있어 보이지만 아직 안 먹어봤어요. Okay, so we're all finished with the 2 quizzes, and finally, our 3rd quiz from September 10th class. It wasn't a live class, it was a recorded lesson, right? And we learned about 저기 있다 or 저기 없다 expression to talk about your past experience of doing something. So this is same in meaning with the expression present verb combined with 봤다 verb, right? So they have the same meaning, but not today, in this specific quiz, we're going to focus on 저기 있다 and 없다 expression. So make sure to type with this expression when you're typing the answer in the live chat. So let's first start with I have never studied a foreign language. So let's first go with the verb learn first. Learn. Do you guys remember what the verb learn is? To learn. It's 배우다, right? 배우다. And how do you combine this with the 저기 있다 없다 pattern? Oh, so just in case you're confused, let me write the rules out for you. So you first conjugate a verb in its present form. So it's present verb combined with 니은 받침 or 은. So if a present verb ends in 받침, you put 은, or if it doesn't end in 받침, you put 니은 받침, right? And then you say 저기 있다. 저기 있다. Or you haven't done something, 없다. Right? So this is the rule. This is the rule that we can follow when we're making 저기 있다 expression. That's right. So 저는, or let's remove the subject. So foreign language, the object has to come first. Foreign language is, oh yes, 배운 적이 없어. 배운 적이 없어. Yes, you guys are getting it correct. Wow. So 외국어 means a foreign language. 외국. So to break down this word for you guys, 외국 itself means a foreign country. It comes from, it's a Sino-Korean word that comes from Chinese character. So 외 means outside and 국 means a country. So it's outside the country, right? So it means foreign country. Foreign country. Outside country, foreign country. And when you put so I'm mixing fantizi and jiantizi, but it doesn't matter. You don't have to know the Chinese character here. So you just have to know the meaning. Means language. So it's a foreign country's language. So it means a foreign language. 외국어. 외국어. That's why 한국어 means Korean. It's that country's language. And also 중국어 is China language, so it's Chinese. And Japanese language, it's easy as well because you can just write the country name and then put 일본어 means Japanese. But for English, it's 영어. It's not 미국어, it's not 영국어, it's not American language, it's not British language, it's called 영어. 영어. Actually, 영 comes from 영국, but yes, we say 영어 to mean English. So, 외국어를 combine it, conjugated in present, zoom it out a bit, present tense, conjugated in present tense, and say no, wait. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry, guys. I'm so sorry, guys. Why am I keep making mistakes here? So the one drawback of live class is that if I make a mistake, I cannot edit it out. So I have to correct it later. But here, it's not present verb, right? I'm sorry, so sorry. It's not present verb. It's stem verb. You have to put the stem of the verb, right? Stem. So it's not present verb, guys. So one confusing thing when making expressions in Korean is that sometimes you have to conjugate it in present tense and sometimes you have to put the stem. So that is one of the confusing parts about verbs and about remembering expressions. I'm sorry about that. So you put the stem. So you can say 배우, the stem, right? 배우, stem. And then this one doesn't end in 받침, so you put 니은 받침, not 은. 배운, 저기, have never. 없어요, 배운 적이 없어요. We learned that something 없어요, something 다 없어요 means there isn't or to not have. So you don't have the past experience of learning a foreign language. 외국어를 배운 적이 없어요. Or we also learned that we can also interchange 배운 with 배워본. You guys remember? So for the verb, it is true that you put the stem, right? So you can just put a single verb and that's fine too. But what we also learn is that we can combine a verb with 보다 verb, right? And then make it a 보다 combination verb and take out this stem and make it in 먹어본 적이 있어요. And so same applies to this one. 배우다 combined with 보다 becomes 배워보 and you put extra 니은 받침, so 배워본 적이 없어요. Both are interchangeably used. They mean the same thing. But just so that you don't get too confused or just so that I don't fry your brain too much, we're just going to go with a single verb in this quiz, okay? We're just going to practice with a single verb, not the 보다 combination verb here. And next one, I have helped Jeff's grandfather before. I have helped Jeff's grandfather before. So when you help someone, you don't help to someone, you just help someone, right? So that someone becomes an object. So you can put an object marking particle after a verb, after a noun, grandfather here. Why did I underline before? Grandfather. So you don't have to translate before when using 저기 있다 없다 expression because it's already an expression that means that's talking about your past experience. So Jeff's grandfather, the object comes first. 제프의 할아버지를 제프의 할아버지를 Okay, let me see you guys' answer. 도와준 적이 있어요. Okay, you guys wrote 도와준 적이 있어요, and that is correct. 도와주다. So for the verb help, it's 도와주다, right? So you take out the stem, and then you apply the rest of the pattern, and it becomes 도와준 적이 있어요. However, I was kind of expecting another answer to see if you guys remember the honorific verb of 주다. Do you guys remember? So more correct, like the most perfect sentence would actually be, so 도와준 적 is fine too, but if you want to follow all the honorific rules, you can say, yes, nail art guy, 도와드린 적이 있어요. So we learned that for 주다 verb, the honorific form is 드리다, right? And it can also, just like 주다, it can also be combined with a verb. So 드리다 is used when the person that you're giving something to, is someone that you should be showing respect to, right? And you are helping 할아버지, right? You're giving the verb to 할아버지, right? So 할아버지 is definitely someone who's way older than you. So it sounds more like correct and proper to replace 주다 with 드리다 and say 도와드린 적이 있어요. So that's how you can say it. And our last sentence, I have never had an argument with Jeff. So I put 3 choices of words. They all mean not exactly the same thing, but they all mean to have an argument with. So 싸우다 is a verb that means to fight, but it can both include the physical fight and also the verbal fight, the verbal quarrels that you have. And 다투다 is also to fight, but it usually means to verbally fight. And 말다툼하다 literally means to do 말다툼. So 말다툼 is a noun that means, 말 means verbal speech, right? Verbal 다툼. 다툼 comes from 다투다. So it's 다투다's noun form. So 말다툼 literally means verbal argument. So they all mean to have an argument with someone, to fight with someone, to quarrel with someone. So how do you say, I have never had an argument with Jeff. 저는 제프랑 다툰 적이 없어요. 싸운 적이 없어요. Okay, you guys are getting it right. Yes. 저는 제프와 싸운 적이 없어요. or 싸워본 적이 없어요. But we're going to go with a single verb, right? And 제프랑 다툰 적이 없어요. 없어요. And 제프랑 말다툼을 한 적이 없어요. Yes, perfect. 말다툼을 combined with 니은 받침 한 적이 없어요. So that's how you can say I have never had an argument with Jeff in Korean. Okay, so we have just finished all the quiz, but if you guys check the third quiz, the September 10th quiz, you guys probably have seen this part as well. Did you? Have you guys? Yoonji asks, yesterday, why did you call Samsung laptop a notebook? Okay, so let me answer that briefly for you. I actually mentioned this in one of my videos. I think it was my room tour video, I think. So, notebook sounds like it's a Konglish word for notebook, right? Like notebook like this. However, notebook in Korean means laptop. This is a Konglish, kind of Konglish, but this doesn't come from notebook. And for the actual notebook, it's called 공책 in Korean. But sometimes some people call notebook notebook. So that's the part where it can get a little bit confusing, but depending on the context, you'll get to understand which one that person means. So yes, notebook is called laptop, and 공책 literally means an empty book. An empty book. So it's a notebook. It's a book where you can write something because it's empty, right? So yes, that's how notebook is laptop and 공책 is notebook in Korean. And I'm not sure if you guys checked. Oh, so some of you guys wrote yes. Yes, you guys have checked it. So I left a little. Sorry, let me drink. Have a sip of water. I left a little note here. I'm not sure if we'll be able to do this part, but I just gave it out to you guys so that you can practice conjunctions with these sentences. And I think we have a bit more time actually to do this part as well. So I will just proceed with this. So yes, let's look at the extra quiz. Identify the conjunctions in each sentence and translate the whole sentence. So in each sentence, it includes 1 or 2 conjunctions. Can you try finding it and kind of marking it? 음식이 많이 없어도 맛있게 먹어줘서 고마워, right? 음식이 많이 없어도 맛있게 먹어줘서 고마워. So here, let's briefly go over the translation. 음식이 많이 없어도, so 도 comes from 그래도, right? If you're still not familiar with conjunctions, you can take my previous conjunctions lessons or maybe like do a research so that you can get the hang of the conjunctions, how conjunctions and sentence connectors are used and what they mean. But I am assuming that people here already know about conjunctions, so let me just proceed. So 그래도 means but still, and 도 is a conjunction of 그래도. So 음식이 많이 없어도 but still 맛있게 먹어줘서 고마워. We learned that 많이 없어도 means there aren't many, right? So there aren't many food. 음식이 많이 없어도 there aren't many food, but still 맛있게 먹어줘서 고마워. Thank you. And we learned that we go with the conjunction 서 when we're expressing the reason for our feeling, for our gratitude, or even being sorry about something. So 맛있게 먹어줘서 means so 맛있게 먹다. 맛있게 먹다 means to, literally means to eat deliciously. Eat deliciously. So it means to enjoy eating. Enjoy eating or enjoy one's meal. So, yes, nail art guy, even though there's not much food, it's delicious. So thank you. Yes, that is true. So enjoy, sorry. So I was lost because I was reading the comment in the live chat. So let me take a few seconds to read them. I have to go to bed now. Sorry, but okay. Oh, it's okay. It's okay. If you guys, if it's too late in your country, you guys are welcome to leave. Like you can always feel free to leave. And if you want to stay here and study with me till the end, so this is the last part. I promise. This is the last part. So if you want to stay till the end, you're more than welcome to. Okay. So even if there isn't many food, but still you enjoy eating it. You enjoy eating it. So thank you. So thank you for enjoying the food even if there's not much food. 음식이 많이 없어도 맛있게 먹어줘서 고마워. And next one. 음식이 많이 없지만 먹어봐. 맛있어. 음식이 많이 없지만 먹어봐. 맛있어. So here, 많지만 conjunction, right? Which comes from 하지만, which means but, right? So 음식이 많이 없. The same with this one. There isn't many food. There aren't many food. But 먹어봐. Try eating, right? 먹다 combined with 보다. 먹어봐. Hey, try it. There isn't many food, but try it. Try what we already have. There isn't much food, but try what we already have. 맛있어. It's delicious. And our last, really, this is the last sentence. So I would like you guys to choose the right conjunction in this sentence. Is it 으니까 or 어서? So we learned the difference between 니까 and 서 conjunction. Both are used after a reason sentence, so reason and result, but their usage is different. Do you guys remember the difference in usage? And can you guys guess the answer, the right answer in this blank, in this parenthesis? Okay, I'm waiting for you guys' response. It's gonna take some time because I know there's like 10 seconds delay between us, between the streamer and the watcher. Unika, more cans. Unika, Andreas. Unika. Yunji said second one. It's actually the first one. Unika. It's nika. It's nika. And can you guys also try to guess the reason why it's the first one? It's because if you look at the second sentence, 맛있게 드세요. 맛있게 드세요. 맛있게 드세요 means to deliciously eat. So we learned that 맛있게 먹다 means to enjoy eating, and we also learned that 먹다's honorific form is 드시다. So if a subject, if the subject of a sentence, if the subject of the person that eats that is someone that you should be showing respect to, you can go with the verb 드시다, right? So 맛있게 드세요 means to eat deliciously. Please eat deliciously, and we usually say this to a customer. In a restaurant, waiters or waitresses say 맛있게 드세요 to customers because customers are definitely someone that they have to be showing respect to, right? Or you can also say it to the people who visit your house for food, or even strangers, or even your grandparents. So eat deliciously, and this is an imperative mood, right? Imperative mood. This sentence is an imperative mood, suggesting the other person, commanding the other person to do something. So in these kinds of sentences, you go with the first one. 음식이 많이 있으니까 imperative mood. 맛있게 드세요. There are many food, so please enjoy eating. So that's why it's 니까, not 서. So if you're still confused, you're welcome to go check out the 니까 versus 서 lesson on my channel. I explain in more detail about this in that lesson. Okay, so that's it. That's actually it. We have done all the quizzes that I gave out to you guys, and thank you so much for joining, guys. Really, I know that it can be quite boring because we are constantly making sentences, constantly practicing, and constantly applying all the rules that we learn, and we have to review it, we have to remember it. Even if we forget it, we have to constantly remember it. So I know that it's not always fun, but still, you guys joined, and thank you so much. It means a lot to me. And so I will end the stream here, and I am thinking of taking a topic test together in our next live class, but I am not sure. I don't have the specific plan. I'm still trying to figure it out. So I will let you guys know about the next live class, the plan for my next live class on my website. And thank you so much, Cam, every time. Thank you very much for the gift. Thank you. And so, yes, I will announce you guys about that on my website. And thank you so much for watching. And in the meantime, I'll see you in my next lessons. So, yes. So I will say goodbye now, and thank you for joining, and thank you, Robin, for being my moderator. Thank you, everyone, for studying hard with me, and also thank you for the gift, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.